we're all here. Let's call the meeting to order at 6:30
Exactly.
on the button, or is it 6:30?
6:30.
6:30 we're going to say, okay.
Right on time.
Pledge allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now we're ready for roll call. Julie?
Jan Gaffney.
Here.
Tim Holcomb.
Here.
Allison McFadden-Kiesling.
Here.
Nancy Moon.
Here.
Alan Panter.
Here.
Marilyn Pomeroy.
Here.
Maggie Sands absent. Julie Meredith here.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made and approved to use the agenda as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who disapprove, please say nay. Motion carried. Julie, may we have a review of the 2025 millage rate, please?
It's a PDF and PowerPoint. PDF or the PowerPoint.
Galloping cursor.
It's open down the bottom.
There we go.
Okay. So I'm going to start off, before we do our millage rate, with a little bit of year in review. So in terms of year in review from the 2024 annual report, thank you, Sissy, for working on this for me. We had 116,543 visits to the library in 2024, 1,595 new library cards, not renewals, brand new ones, 264,912 total circulations, 11,666 information questions, 240 children's programs, 5,823 computer users, 94,463 total downloads, and 1,430 study room uses. So it was a busy, busy year. To do some year in review of this year, year to date, we're already up to 75,816 visitors and 155,154 circulations, 3,224 computer users, 7,598 information questions. As you can see, we're doing really well. In most of these areas, we are set to exceed what we did in 2024, so we're very proud of that. If you hop down to the bottom and look at those children and teen programs, this is just through July, and in July, we had 237 children's programs already. We had 240 in 2024 total. So our children's department has been really knocking it out of the park this year, getting stuff done, and doing fun things with the kids. Okay. So let's talk about our millage rate in 2025, leading into the budget. So this is our L4029. We do this every year. We fill out this information and send it to the county. It needs to go to the clerks of each of the municipalities and to the clerk of Oakland County Equalization Office. So let's talk a little bit about what this millage rate means. So there was a district-wide millage of 1.1687 approved by the voters in 2022. The original millage was approved in 2014, and it was 1.25. It was for 8 years, and Headley rolled it down progressively over the course of those 8 years. When we renewed it in 2022, we went ahead and just renewed it at that rolled down rate. We did not ask for a Headley override. We did not ask for an increase. We just kept with what Headley had rolled it down. So in 2024, it was rolled down by Headley to 1.1625. And this year, it is subject to Headley again, and it will be rolled down to 1.1521. So just some other areas in terms of revenue, state aid and E-rate, we are concerned about those with the cuts to IMLS. We're a little bit concerned about that federal funding. Same thing with state aid. When federal funding gets cut, the state tries to do their best to make up for those Those cuts, the state's budget isn't done at this time, so that's really up in the air. We think that we will be getting some funding from the state, but it's really unclear. So I'm leaving that out of my calculation at the moment since we don't know. Penal fines have been fairly stable. So just to kind of review what penal fines are for people who don't know, in Michigan's Constitution, there is an amount of money that is set aside specifically for libraries, and it comes from court costs and traffic tickets. So if you get a speeding ticket in the state of Michigan, a little cut of that money goes to your public library for reading and library services. And so what it's divided is by county. Each county calculates out, and there's a very big and complicated formula, and some of it goes here and some of it goes there, and libraries get a little piece of that, based on per capita rates. So it has been, in my tenure here as library director, has been anywhere from $40,000 to $75,000. Last year, or this year, this collecting year, was $68,000. And it fluctuates depending on how many people speed, and also the court costs themselves. So those of you who have a speeding ticket, thank you for your small contribution to the lesson. So fines and fees. The fines and fees include everything from lost books to room rentals and that sort of thing. We've actually seen a little bit of an increase. That increase is primarily coming from room rentals, which is really nice. And then duplicating and photocopying, we're seeing a little bit of growth in that area as well. And these are numbers that I'm taking last year, comparing it to where we are so far this year, and then just making some slight adjustments. Interest is where we're seeing a big growth because we did a lot of investing last year. I was conservative in how much I put into the budget. One of the things about interest is that we're thinking about pulling that money aside and setting it aside specifically for capital improvements in future years. But in terms of revenue, it will be recognized during this budget year, so I just wanted to let you know. But we may decide to do something a little bit different with that, just so that you're aware. So then, totaling that up, the library will have total estimated operating revenues of approximately $2,903,035. This is an increase of approximately $144,000 from last year. So this part of the process, we're approving the millage rate at that rolled down headly rate. And then the next step in that process, there will be a budget workshop October 21st, when we will talk about the details of the budget, and then we will have another public hearing in November to go over the specifics of the finalized budget, and the board will approve the budget. The budget must be approved by December 31st, but we're all set to be ahead of that game than we usually are. Okay. Any questions?
Very clear.
Thank you, Julie. We're ready to open the public hearing on the millage rate. The public hearing will be opened at 6:40 p.m. Does anybody have any questions or comments that they would like to make at this time?
I'm a money guy. Okay.
May we have your name, please?
David Ziegler,
Thank you, David.
Elm Road. In Fence Township. Even though the millage goes down, because of the property values going up, we're getting to 2.8 million for your budget. Is that annual, or is that spread over 3 or 4 years, that budget?
It is an annual budget.
Do you think that honestly, that this building needs 2.8 million?
Well, we put it out to the public in 2022, and it passed with 67% yes votes, so the community is supporting it.
A lot of people think, and I'll just say this to sit down, oh, it's the library. So is the money actually being used the way it's designed to be used, or do you find that there's extra that you don't need?
The money that is set aside that you might consider to be extra is money that we set aside for capital improvements. We actually have a really robust and complete capital improvement plan. It's actually a 7-page document. It lists absolutely everything about the building, everything from the HVAC to the sidewalks to the parking lot. And we set aside money in preparation. In that capital improvement plan budget, we actually put in when something was last replaced and its expected life expectancy, and then we have estimates of when we're going to need to replace those things. For example, in 2016, 17, and 18, we redid the parking lot. It was a 3-year project. It was $500,000 to redo the parking lot and all of the concrete sidewalks. It hadn't been done since the building had been built in 1992, so we really got our money's worth out of it the first time around. But we have money set aside in order to be able to do those things and not have to go back to the public and say, hey, public, we need to do these things. So last year's big project was to redo HVAC unit number 3, which is the big beast of a unit, and that was about a $60,000 unit. And tonight we're going to be talking about the 4 smaller units that are from 2006, and we will be redoing those, and that'll be a project of a little over $100,000. So we have that money set aside so that we don't have to come back to you.
And we'll see that in November on the paper.
Yes, absolutely.
Any other questions or comments? I think we will close the public hearing at 6:43.
It's hard to see.
Yes, it is. We need to approve the resolution. Do we need to do this by vote? By individual?
That'll be when we get to the first item on the agenda.
Okay.
So, regular business.
Okay, so we are ready for the consent agenda. Any questions or comments on the consent agenda? If not, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that we approve it as presented.
I second.
The consent agenda has been approved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who disapprove, please say nay. Motion carried. Call to the public. Okay, let's move on. How about the Friends of the Library report, Jim?
Good evening. Just a couple items from Friends of the Library this time. The current available balance that Friends are working with right now is $32,200. We have a donor view software, which is an update on how we track all our memberships and volunteer activities and so forth. That's now being populated thanks to quite a bit of help from Bill. Thank you. And should have full membership rules by the book sale.
Oh, very good.
The Friends Fall Book Sale, on that note, is the September 24th through the 27th, with preview on the 23rd. You are more than welcome to help. You can volunteer during that book sale. And the Friends of the Library will launch a Junior Friends program in coordination with the library staff, which will be an opening for a child to become a member. It's not a dues-paying thing, but they do have to read a book or go to a program in Red Summer into the library. That'll be launched during the book sale. Again, for the minors. And that's all I have.
What was the date of the book sale again?
It opens to the public on the 24th.
That's what I
The
thought.
member previews on the 23rd, starts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wonderful, thank you.
Mhm.
Jim,
Yes.
approximately how many friends does the library have now?
I think we're tracking 300 records. Some of those may be families.
Okay.
That's good.
Sure.
Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
May we have the director's report, please?
Okay. So under the We Are Community Collaborator section, libraries are no longer just a building full of books. They are centers of lifelong learning that reach out to the community and collaborate with each other to better serve our residents. Some libraries have a bookmobile, a large bus with an onboard collection that usually has a regular route of stops that patrons can board and check out materials. It is essentially a mobile branch of the library. This is a big investment with all of the care and maintenance of a building and a vehicle. To make the most of something like that, it needs to be out in the community as much as possible. This can be a huge undertaking for library staff. More recently, libraries have begun investing in smaller vehicles, more like a tall contractor's van, that allow for a library presence at schools and events with more flexibility and simpler maintenance. The Orion Township Library has been researching such a vehicle and approached us to see if we might want to consider collaboratively investing in a library van that could be shared between the two libraries. Initial conversations have been interesting and productive, and I would like to form a committee to pursue a deeper discussion on this potential collaborative project. If anyone is interested in that.
I'm not necessarily interested in it, but I just wanted to point out that I have a client who recently
put one of those in service, and they love it, and they're having great results with it, and I will tell you who that is after.
Okay, very good.
Terrific.
Yeah.
You can see that's frequently in more rural areas where you have to go greater distances to get to the library. But interesting to discuss.
Yep.
I think it could be a great marketing tool, you know, have our name on the side and drive around to, like this coming weekend, Art in the Village.
Be at events and things like
You
that.
know,
yeah.
you know, different school events. I think it can be very worthwhile.
And to share the expense with another library would be very practical and efficient.
Yeah, because if we just have our own, there are going to be periods of time where it's just sitting. If we're sharing it, as long as we can work out a good schedule, and I would think that we could do that, it seems like a good idea to me.
Well, especially because the two districts are equal in size, just about, that's our closest.
Yeah.
So we're looking at about the same number of residents.
We are a go-to place for learning and resources. To fulfill our mission to inspire our community to pursue lifelong learning, the library offers a wide array of programs and activities that innovate, enrich, and educate. The full calendar of what we have to offer can be found on the library's website at www.cidlibrary.org. And I just wanted to bring this up and point this out. And you'll notice on the last page of your report, there is an image of what our calendar looks like and how full it is, including all those 237 children's programs that have been going on. So I just wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of go in and browse and see some of those things. On October 14th, I have been invited to present to two sections of an Oakland University Honors College class at the sophomore level studying censorship and the banning of books. I have been asked to focus on how we develop well-rounded collections in a public library, the collection development policies we use to guide us, and the procedures we have in place to address individual concerns about specific items, and I am looking forward to doing that presentation. That should be fun. And we are a vital organization. As presented last month, the library administrative staff is working with the Friends of the Library board on a more streamlined system for handling censorship, memorial donation, wish list funds that come through the Friends of the Library. In the past, the Friends have reimbursed the library for expenses incurred. Managing the paperwork for the system has become unwieldy. Beginning with the fall wish list, the Friends will cut one check for approved projects. It will be deposited into the library fund through a specific revenue line so that we can easily track all Friends contributions. The library board will be asked to approve budget adjustments to provide those funds in the line items that will allow staff to expend and easily track their projects. The staff will provide a bi-monthly report to the Friends board to confirm and document what has been purchased. Funds that are not expended by the next wish list approval process will be rolled into the next funding request. The library board will see the first set of budget adjustments at the regular meeting on November for fall wish list projects that are approved at the Friends Fall membership meeting. And then I just have a summary of this rollout. So we're launching this new system with the fall wish list at the October Friends membership meeting. The end date for anything that's in that 881.009 reimbursement line is September 30th. All Friends reimbursement forms done the old way must be to Kathy by September 30th. We'll be running a report of the remaining funds from spring and discuss the holdover amounts at the staff wish list preparation meeting on October 6th. So the staff will have to tell us if there's anything that they need in that money that needs to go into the next spending cycle. The Friends Board will receive the report of those planned rollover amounts that they will need to pay in order to start the new system at their meeting on October 9th. And then the Friends Fall wish list or Friends membership meeting will be that wish list approval on October 16th. The library board will be asked to make those budget adjustments after that wish list meeting at their November 10th meeting. And then we're going to work with Melissa and the library board to roll over those budget line items at the year end into the 2026 budget year so that we don't have to come in January and have you make budget adjustments again. So we're going to write that into the budgeting process. And we'll talk to Eiley about that, the auditor, and make sure that that's okay with her. So, any questions about any of that? All right.
That's going to be nice for the Friends.
It will be. Missy's looking forward to it. She was a little unsure at first, and then when she realized how much easier it was going to be, she was definitely on board.
I think it's going to be nice for the staff, too, to have a really good idea of where they're at.
And be able to run QuickBooks reports and see exactly what they've got left in those
Yeah.
line items. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, now we're ready for an approval of the resolution setting the 2025 millage rate. May I have a motion, please?
Oh, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve of the resolution setting the millage rate at 1.1521 mils for 2025.
I second.
And we now need a roll call for approval.
Jan Gaffney,
Yes.
Tim Holcomb,
Yes.
Allison McFadden Keesling,
Yes.
Nancy Moon,
Yes.
Alan Panter,
Yes.
Marilyn Pomeroy,
Yes.
and Maggie Sands absent. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, I think I saw Sissy back there. Yes. The request for out-of-state travel. Excuse me.
And thank you for coming in to do this, Sissy. Much appreciated.
Okay. So hi, my name's Sissy. I work here at the library. I'm head of marketing and engagement. So I'm here to present for out-of-state travel today for myself and for one of my coworkers. One of the great things about the library is that we say we're a cornerstone of learning, and that not only applies to all of our patrons here, but also for us. So we want to be lifelong learners, not only to instill that in the kids and the community members, but also for our staff so that we can better serve everyone in the community. So this is the Library Marketing and Communications Conference. It's in St. Louis, Missouri. It's from November 12th to 13th. So the dates. So on Tuesday, November 11th, when we looked at flights, the proposed flight would leave at 1. We'd arrive in St. Louis at 2, check into the hotel. There is a library tour of the gorgeous library that is there. And then there is a conference dinner that night to introduce everyone. The nice thing about this conference is that it brings marketing and librarians from all over the different states. So it's not just Michigan, it's not just Missouri. We have a lot of Ohioans that were there last year when we went, and it was kind of fun to meet with different levels and see an academic library versus a public library and just kind of learn the difference between the two and then how, like what similarities there are as well. So the conference itself is the 12th and the 13th, and it starts at 7:30 a.m. and it goes all the way to 4. There's breakout sessions during the day, and on the next couple slides I have the breakout sessions that Chelsea and myself would be looking at going to. Chelsea is our teen librarian here, and she runs the teens newsletter that she does. She runs their Instagram account, so she is marketing for teens, which I think if we all think about teenagers, they're definitely a different audience than the kids, right? Teenagers have a little bit more independence, so they get to choose what they're interested in, and it's not mom and dad being like, this would be a really cool program, I'm taking you. So Chelsea has to kind of think more about how to stay in tune with the kids, keep up on the trends. So for her to meet with other teen librarians, specifically marketing as well, it's been really helpful for her. So Tuesday through Thursday, and then Friday would be the departure. So last year we left on, this would be our second year going back, and last year we left on Thursday afternoon, but we ended up missing 2 sessions. So when we were looking at flights, it was actually cheaper to stay another night and go home on Friday than it was to go on Thursday. Thursday flights per person were over $400, and instead our flights are under $400 together. So that was the reason for staying an extra day. So this is the cost breakdown. The registration fee is $550 per person. The hotel room, they have a block, so the hotel room is locked in at $169. There's the dining, and then like I said, airfare ended up being $200, and we just estimated because we will not have a vehicle, so we will have to get from the airport to the hotel. But these are the costs for this trip. The sessions that I'm interested in are all on the screen. A lot of it is talking about, so I made this presentation in Canva. One of them is talking about how to use Canva Pro, which is super exciting, and that's what we subscribe to. And a lot of it is about, it's community, it's about engagement, but it's also about marketing. And so whether that's inclusivity or that's strategic media relations, it's kind of all together. And of course, there's something about social media as well for me. And then Chelsea sessions, I think when we looked and compared our sessions, there's only one that we actually both wanted to go to. So by sending both of us, we're getting two different viewpoints for each of the sessions as well, which is nice. So there's only the one that was separate, but
I was impressed by that.
yeah.
You know how I feel about that.
I know. So yes, there was only the one. And but these are just the sessions. They also at the conference have breakouts, and in the morning they have a group one as well. So those are like the big conference ones, and they bring in pretty big names for those. They haven't announced them yet, so I cannot share that. But last year those were really fun as well, and those are like extras. And these are just the during the days, but at night they also have some like team building and stuff like that for everyone to get to know everyone. So the objectives of the conference, we're trying to learn more about social media, community engagement, and best marketing practices. We hope to bring back our innovative ideas for our teams and ourselves. I have my own team here at the library for marketing, and Chelsea is part of the youth and teen team as well, so it's not only helping us, but it's helping our teams as well when we bring back these collaborative ideas that we in the library can do. And it doesn't just stop there, right? Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh man, you know, if Chelsea hears a cool idea about something for the adults, like we're gonna go back and say, hey David, you know, we just heard this really cool idea. But so social media, learning more about the trends, and hopefully filming some content while we're there. Community engagement, learning how to involve our community a little bit more, and see how others engage with their patrons. And then marketing practices. What I learned last year was a lot of libraries have a communications toolkit. It's something that I've always wanted. So I'm in the process of creating that, and last year there were some really, really good sessions about how to make one. It's on our strategic plan. It's on me. So I'm hoping that going to the conference again, I'll be able to like talk with a couple more people and collaborate with some libraries and see what works for them. So for your consideration, we will, just like we did last year, after we attend the conference, we will come back and then share out what we've learned and tell you about all of the fun sessions that we went to, and just kind of hear how we'll learn and apply the skills. So this is me, obviously, and then Chelsea is our teen services librarian. Like I said, we really loved last year, and we look forward to this year with your support. Last year was the 10th anniversary of the conference, and this year will be their 11th year. What's cool about this conference is it actually is the only one. Like youth, there's lots of youth conferences in the spring, and then there's one in the fall. Like they have a lot of opportunities here in Michigan and elsewhere. Marketing in libraries is kind of niche. Like not every library has the ability to have marketing in the library. And sometimes a lot of people in the libraries wear different hats. So that's why it includes like marketers like myself, but librarians like Chelsea. And so that's why this conference is so worthwhile and so valuable, because it is the only library marketing conference that's out there. So, any questions?
Okay. Excellent, thank you, Sissy.
Thank you.
Good job.
Sounds great.
I think I closed.
Well, we need to have a motion to approve the request for out-of-state travel. I think the total dollars were $2,600, if I remember correctly.
There is adequate funding in the conferences and workshop budget to fulfill this request based on the estimated cost.
Okay, so we have it already in our budget, so could I have a motion to approve?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the request for out-of-state travel as presented to the 2025 Library Marketing and Communications Conference.
I'll second that.
A motion has been made and approved. The request for out-of-state travel in November to go to St. Louis, Missouri. Too bad it's not a nicer place. Sorry.
Like San Diego or something.
Yeah, yes. It's been seconded, so all those who agree, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who disapprove, please say nay. Motion carried.
We look forward to hearing about it.
Yes. Okay, now we are ready for the vote policy, and I believe that's Neil.
Aye.
Do you want me to read the summary, Neil, or?
Yeah, if you could.
Okay. So the library board approved the vault policy in June of this year. Now that the policy has been in practice for a few months, it has become clear that we would like to allow holds on items. Under checkout limitations, we would like to remove statement number 3, items cannot be placed on hold. They are first come, first serve.
Yep, so we are getting rid of line item number 3 under, as Julie stated, under the checkout limitations. We knew or foresee that eventually this would have to, we would eventually have to allow holds. As popularity in the collection grew, we just knew that was just the natural direction that was going to take. So we're at that crossroads and we're crossing it.
That's pretty fast to get there this quickly. That's good.
Have patrons been like reaching out, like asking about being able to hold
Yeah,
items?
yeah. Since we introduced the collection, we've had numerous comments about wanting the collection to be able to be placed on hold. And it's gotten to the point now where we feel comfortable with the system, with the item, the processes, that it just makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it was good that you did it at first without allowing holds. I think that was a smart move.
Yeah.
And now you're ready for more. I think that's great.
So it sounds like it's being heavily used.
It is.
Vault.
Yeah, it's been fairly popular.
That's good.
It's terrific. Yeah.
Neil, approximately how many items do we have in the vault at the moment, do you know?
It ranges somewhere between 55 to 60.
Okay.
And some of those items are duplicates, though it's, I would say, on like unique, I would say somewhere between maybe 45, 48 unique items total. And it grows over time as we add new things. We've also adopted pre-existing items that we had in the collection and rolled them into the vault, things that just kind of made sense for it to exist in that location. And it was better served by the exposure of the collection and such and so forth.
So what kind of items are the most popular?
So the projector telescope definitely goes out quite a bit. We also offer these Nikon Trailblazer binoculars that are fairly popular. They go out a lot. A lot of people in the community like to use them for bird watching and purposes such as that. Metal detectors, we have 2 of them, and they are constantly out. Yep. It's been a blast kind of seeing what goes out and what people are constantly wanting to take back out from the library. It's very cool.
It's kind of cool because it gives people a chance to try out those binoculars, because that's a pretty big outlay for an individual to get a really good set of binoculars, and they can see if they really want it, or...
Especially for somebody that might not be well versed in what they're looking for as far as like quality and high performance like binoculars go. It's great to be able to come to a place and not have to think about that.
Right.
When you're picking it up.
Yeah, there's some super cool stuff in that, like the P3 kilowatt meter.
Oh, yeah.
I've checked that out a couple times. I was able to figure out that making toast costs about 2 cents in the morning. So that was an interesting insight to find out.
Yep. The radon detector is very popular as well, which is a great utility tool, especially here in Michigan.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And Neil, do you have people asking for particular items, so you kind of have a list of things that you might want to include in the next wish list?
Yeah, there's a working list that's just constantly being modified, added to as it grows and as it expands, as we get more things and figure out what works with, say, a vault light or the collection like a vault. So all those questions of compatibility and usability and portability, they kind of get rolled together, asking what works with it.
Have we done any like specific marketing target to the public for that?
Yeah, so this, I want to say the whole collection was kind of involved in that. When we first pitched the idea, we immediately went out to the public and asked, what would you like to see? And we gather that information and then use that to kind of fill out the roster to start. And then as time has gone on, we've used stand-up displays over at like community events such as Maker Girl over at the Clarkson High School. We've used a lot of different community platforms to share and kind of provide that outreach.
That's awesome. Thanks.
Do you think that there's a possibility that some items might be so popular that you're going to get hold after hold after hold after hold and kind of put it on file, and then somebody calls and said, I'd like to check out whatever it is, and you're like, yeah, you're going to have to wait about 2 years for that?
So one of the things that we'll be watching when we place the items on hold are those hold queues. So that will also help determine when we should purchase extra duplicates, copies of items to fill that out. We do the same thing with our books and materials. So we check and update those hold purchase alerts when people are requesting things. It gives us an idea as to when to purchase and to fill in those gaps.
And one other thing that Neil does that I really like is that he collaborates with other libraries that also have similar collections, and they share best practices and ideas of what's circulating well, so we can look into that and get ideas of other new things. That's the nice thing, is libraries are not really in competition with each other. We are really good at sharing with each other, so.
There's a wealth of knowledge out there.
Yes, absolutely, and we all learn together, which is really nice.
Yep.
And a lot of it is stored in your office.
Update to that. The vault has a new location now, which is not in my state.
That's wonderful, good for you.
Yeah, that's nice.
So you can find your chair now, that's great.
And I can sit in it too. And
Great, any other questions or comments for Neil?
No?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
May I have a motion to approve this change to the updated vault policy as presented by Neil?
So moved. Second.
Second.
A motion has been made and approved to update the vault policy. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who disapprove, please say nay. Motion carried. Now we are on to strategic borrowing practices video.
You want me to do the summary too for you, Neil?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So we want our patrons to be power users by making the most of the services that the library has to offer. So we are introducing SBP, Strategic Borrowing Practices. SBP helps you make the most of both Libby and Hoopla to access the content you want, faster and smarter. Before borrowing, check Libby first to see if a title is available. If it's not, use Hoopla to keep your reading list moving without delay. By using Libby when availability is high, you save your limited Hoopla borrows for titles that aren't as easy to access, making every checkout count. So how do we share these strategic tricks and tips with our community? Through a series of videos collaboratively created by library staff and Independence Television. We will share a sampling of collaborative project at this meeting. So thank you, Neil.
I agree. We'll go ahead and start the first video here.
Are you plagued by unread books and unfulfilled cravings? You might be suffering from holdenitis. Fear not, because strategic borrowing practices are here to help. Tried, true, game-changing. With SBP, you start your search with Libby while using Hoopla to alleviate longer wait times. Less waiting, no more thumb-twiddling despair. Start by applying SBP logic to your reading goals. If a title has an extremely long wait time in Libby, hop over to Hoopla. By strategically borrowing across platforms, you unlock maximum content with minimal wait. I used to wait months! Now I mix and match platforms and always have something queued up.
Wait, isn't this just borrowing books like normal, but checking on Hoopla for availability?
Thanks, SBP!
Who were those people?
That was terrific.
That was the teaser, kind of like the infomercial into to our series. So there's 2 more videos. I think Neil has the second one. It's super exciting because it hasn't been released on socials yet, so you get the first view today.
Yay.
I'll say this is a really incredible video. And the third one is still being filmed, so it will be released later. But we've been sharing tips and tricks about Libby and Hoopla as well on socials to prep for the release of these videos. But we wanted to have something that we could point the public to as well, because sometimes they're like, they only use one app, or they don't realize there's 2. So it's kind of retelling them, like, man, both of them can work to your advantage, to the best of our abilities. So this is one of the features in Libby.
Here we go.
Or natural actors.
My lord, I bring news from the far districts. The texts you have requested have been acquired.
Yeah, that's all right. Libby kind of just sent you a notification when they come in.
With Libby's Notify Me tag, users can mark books not yet in the catalog. If that title gets purchased, Libby sends a notification. Still not seeing the book? Tap the Deep Search button to explore beyond the collection.
So those are the 2 videos that we've completed thus far. We have one more that's still within production that we're working on wrapping up. This was totally a group effort. Could not have been done alone, not without everybody helping and pitching in wherever possible.
And the nice thing about these videos is that they're in response in our strategic plan. People talked about the hold weights on downloadable materials and whatever, and so in response, the staff talked about ways that they could reach out to the community and say, well, don't forget we have 2 platforms, and don't forget that there are ways that you can use the 2 platforms together to maximize your availability of materials and minimize your wait times. So.
And in a very fun way. I enjoyed that.
I applaud their creativity for
well
responding to the need.
Very well done. And we have actors on staff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you, Neil.
Sissy. Now I think we are ready for the HR software update. Is that going to be you, Nicole?
It's going to be me, so I'm not going to make Julie read my summary. All read it, I am sure. So, as you guys know, back in June, we had approved the Bamboo HR core plan with the intention of trialing that before we committed to the pro version or the payroll modules. So we were trying to be efficient with our money, kind of make sure we liked it before we jumped all in. So far, the software has been performing very well, and we are now ready to start rolling that out to our staff in October. So that's very exciting. So now we're going to kind of talk about the pro version, what we liked about it, and why it'll be helpful to us here in our library. So the two key features that we're really looking at in that pro version is number one, the employee community. So our employees have talked about many times about having somewhere where they can discuss things, and this would help centralize those communications. It also has a local communication area that any sort of internal announcements and things like that would all be posted in the same place. So for people who have a hard time necessarily looking through their emails or whatever, it's going to be much less chaotic, especially if you get as many emails as our lovely director over here, where things are going to clutter and all of that other stuff, so you might miss some of those emails. This would help with that, because it would be in that area.
And it archives them.
And it archives them, yes.
So if there's a message that you knew was there and you couldn't remember what it was, it's all archived.
And for very important messages as well, we could have a read receipt on that as well. So they would click it when they're done, so we would know that everyone got the message, especially if it was something like, we're going to be closed for the day, please don't come in, or anything like that, those types of things. It also serves, again, as a chat hub for the staff, so especially for people who don't normally get to interact with each other. Like, for example, I'm here Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, so if someone's only here Tuesday and Thursday, I don't generally get to interact with them often, so it kind of makes a little bit more of a community within our staff as well. The second piece is performance management. So the big thing that we would use for this is like the employee reviews. So we're able to have those all be digital. It would be questionnaire forms. Yes. So it would be super nice for not only for the employees, but also for the managers. They can just go back into their employees and look at last year's review, see if they, employees can set goals on there. Like, it's a really great aspect to that. So we're looking at, revamping our process now, some new questions and everything, and put that in there. We're bringing that to the management team hopefully this week. The other thing too is that you can do kudos. So it's like you can say like, hey, Bill, you did such a great job helping out circulation. Thank you so much for your hard work. So Julie could post that on there. Or just in general, I could say, hey, Jen, you did a wonderful job. Thanks for helping me out. So then it kind of fosters more of that environment again of just being very positive and kind of calling people out for going above and beyond.
In the community.
In the community, yep. Or again, helping a patron, or if a patron says, hey, Jen, you did such a wonderful job, and it was so wonderful, and they come to David could say, hey, that patient reached out to me and said that Jen really did a wonderful job, or whoever. Okay, so what does that mean for us? So we are proposing to move forward with the Bamboo HR Pro in October, so that would give us 3 months of the year to work with this software, and that would allow us to roll it out to hopefully the staff in November. So once I'm able to see it, we'll be able to filter that timeline a little better to see how much it would take to set up the community. And this also helps alignment with our plan to hopefully do the payroll version in the beginning of January, which would be like a clean cut for the next year. Okay, so we are requesting that movement of the $3,500 from undesignated revenue to 801, which is the professional contract services line. It will cover the monthly increase for the Bamboo HR Pro from the core to the pro version, which is what your little text box is there with the Excel sheet, and the one-time implementation fee for the payroll. We've also included a small buffer to accommodate any extra part-time staff, because the way that Bamboo HR works is that it's a per-person fee. So that way we won't have to come back for a small amount of money in case we end up hiring a couple extra people. Any questions?
I had one. I knew that on the payroll you were going to probably do 2 or 3 months. Since we're getting this earlier, you're going to maybe run your payroll in November and December rather than waiting till January, February?
Yes, they run like 1 or 2 concurrent ones, but the payroll fees don't generally start until later per Bamboo HR. So right now we would still be paying for paychecks, and there might be like 1 additional paycheck fee maybe like at the beginning of next year or 2, just to make sure that they both equal the same, that all of everything is good before we fully switch over.
Okay.
Wise move.
Okay.
Yes, very important.
Well,
Yes.
and I feel like switching over at the very beginning of the year will help in terms of W-2s going out next year, because otherwise you've got everybody's got a W-2 from the old place.
Yeah.
And from the new place.
Yeah, and they said that they can do it in the middle of the year. They like import the data. But then you're just kind of asking for maybe a mistake to happen somewhere in the data in between, or
Yeah.
who knows?
It feels
I mean,
clean to do
probably would
it.
be fine,
Yeah, it
but-
feels really clean to do it at the beginning of the
Yep,
year.
and then, you know, this way everyone can, it's like a new year, new payroll software, it kind of just makes a little bit of sense. And this way then we'll have some exposure to it beforehand, so it's not gonna be the first time they're logging in, the first time they're seeing it. They're gonna have a couple of other things, we're having a couple little tasks for them to do along the way, so they get familiar with the software, so.
You can tell us when we haven't done them.
Yes, I can tell when they haven't done them. Bad email today. So, any other questions?
Any other questions or
I like
comments?
the fact that you're looking ahead.
Yes, I like to try and have it all planned out, to make me feel less stressed out, to have a plan. We can always adjust if we need, if it ends up being too tight of a timeline. But we really want the communication piece to be important for them to see that as a communication platform as well. That's why we'd like to do it first before we start the payroll. Because we don't want them to think it's just payroll with that. So we really want them to be like a hub for them to go to.
So then they can perhaps be using the communications November, December.
Correct. Yeah.
Terrific. Any other questions or comments? May I have a motion, please, to approve the proposal? I do believe we need to take some undesignated revenue to line 801. We need to make a budget adjustment.
Yes, and there's currently $29,242 in undesignated revenue. And the money is intended to be inserted into the budget as our strategic plan activity priorities took shape over the course of the year, so.
And this is one of them.
And this is one of them.
One of them, exactly.
Okay, I'll move that we approve the proposal for Bamboo HR as presented and approve a budget adjustment of $3,550 from undesignated revenue to line 801, professional and contract services.
Second.
We have a motion, it's been seconded to approve the proposal for the Bamboo HR as presented and to approve a budget adjustment of $3,550 from undesignated revenue to line 801. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who disapprove, please say nay. Motion approved. Now we are on to Polaris software.
Do you want me to read the whole blurb there? I mean, it is long. I can read it, it's not a problem, but it's just kind of long. But, so in July of this year, AT&T and the other cell phone providers, they started a process to modernize the cellular networks. One of those items to be eliminated in this update was the method that we are currently using to send text messages, called an email to SMS gateway. This allows for a program to send an email to a specially crafted email address that is different for every carrier, and that goes and gets converted into a text message that is sent to the user's text message app. This has been the standard for a very long time, and therefore has been eliminated by AT&T. This has caused a cascade effect of all the other carriers following suit. They have also begun shutting down these services, causing our patrons to miss reminders that we're sending. We have been getting notifications that, Patty did that. You're right, you didn't. Clarivate, which is the company that provides our Polaris ILS, as a replacement solution that uses current methods for submitting SMS messages that is more robust and does not have the issues of the earlier method. Attached is a brochure of the features and advantages of the product. Highlights include a compliant and reliable delivery service, an easy way to update the actual messages sent, and unlimited messages included. We did consider other options. I talked to other libraries, and they said, yeah, we've had this in, there was like they couldn't really recommend them. And then we talked to the companies themselves. They were not as tightly integrated with Polaris, or they had limits on the number of messages that were able to be sent. There was just issues with some of the other ones that people were using. So since we are in fact using Polaris through Clarivate, I felt that this was probably going to be our best bet using their solution
To transition.
to the thing. So this is not a budgeted item because it did come up on us in July. We were not, they're like, yeah, we're doing this. And a lot of people have been scrambling to try to get ahead of it.
So I'm requesting that the $4,770 for the first year be moved into line item 931, which is equipment maintenance, which is where I pay the Polaris bill out of, to cover year one, and then I will be adding years 2 and 3 into the budget for next year, the next 2 years. And as Julie said, there's $29,242 in undesignated revenue.
Minus
$35.50. So 26,000 something in undesignated revenue at this time. Any questions on that? I know it's a complicated, it's a little picky thing. I mean, it really is, but this is one of the most popular methods of our patrons to receiving their notifications, their hold notices, stuff like that.
Yes.
And yeah, we've been using this system
For years.
since I've been here. I mean, it's basically done the same thing for the last 15, 20 years. So AT&T is like, we really don't want to do this anymore because they have to maintain all of their infrastructure for this stuff. There's security concerns, the way this stuff is sent. You know, there's a lot of different things. Like we're just, and instead of saying, it's going to take us a year or 2 to get rid of this, no, we're done. And so they cut it off pretty much, I think they said in July, we're going to cut it off in the next 2 months. And they weren't lying. It's wrong.
They gave you lots of lead
So
time,
much
didn't they?
And then everybody else went, well, they did it. So if AT&T can get away with it, we're going to do the same thing. Because again, like I said, it is an aging infrastructure. It is something that security does not want to deal with any longer. So there are better methods. Don't get me wrong, there are better methods to do it. It's just, change is hard. And a lot of people did not implement something new. Clarivate said, we saw this coming. We were like, here's your software, this will do this. And we went, thank you. And so yeah, this is a 3-year contract on this. It is going to increase our yearly Polaris bill by $3,270 a year. I did check. It is not replacing something. It's replacing part of something, but anyways, it is still going to increase our budget on Polaris by $3,200 a year.
I made a note of that.
Mm-hmm.
So in 3 years, we'll evaluate.
Yeah, just to make sure
where
that
to
it's
go
doing what
from
it's
there.
doing, and then renew it. Probably renew it at that point. But it is set at this cost for the next 3 years.
So this is allowing us to do something that we could do before that AT&T took away.
AT&T and all
Oh,
the
and all the other places.
and everybody
Yes, I'm
else
sorry.
too.
Yes,
It's
everyone
not-
pick on AT&T.
just started it.
That's right, but your explanation was really clear.
Okay.
It was really great. I just want to make sure I got it.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're correcting a situation that we need to correct, and this is a system that we've chosen to do it.
Yes, this is the one I'm suggesting. And
Yes.
the cool part is not only does it replace it, but it gives us additional features.
Right.
So I didn't have things like they're talking about how many people actually read that text message is available to me, will be available to me now. I didn't put this in there because I didn't. It's in the
Fine details.
The detail. Well, in the brochure.
Yeah.
You know, it's in the brochure of the things I can do in reporting. I can do bounce checking. I can do all that sort of stuff.
That's cool.
Edit the text message, which was something I couldn't do before. You know, so I can send out, hey, this is the library. This is your library, not just library says you have something overdue. That's what it says now. And I'm like, well, that's because I don't have control over it. But we get more control this way as well.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Is that like RCS-based messaging?
It's an API. It's an API-based thing that builds right into the Polaris API that it just sends out that way.
That's cool.
So.
Yeah. Yep.
And they're also following all of the governmental Can Spam Act and all these other things like that, so that I'm not spamming people by using this, so that they can. That's why I'm saying reliable delivery, which is important because that happens too. If we got messed up somehow, any text messages we sent out were bounced back as spam. Not anymore. This is a completely separate system.
So Clarivate was good at anticipating what was coming and getting a patch ready.
They built something that will help us, that helps out everybody. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, one thing that might be kind of neat with that, if it does use RCS, like the Rich Communication Services backend, we could even like embed graphics with that potentially. Or something.
I don't know. I'll have to play with it and see if I can.
That'd be neat.
Yeah. Put links directly in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Put links in at least.
Once this is approved, how long will it be for you to have this up and available?
They've already given me the, I have the paperwork all ready to go. It shouldn't take more, it should take less than a couple weeks.
Oh,
I mean,
terrific.
it really shouldn't take all that long.
Sweet.
Okay.
And there are two motions, because I wasn't certain how we wanted to do that. The first motion was to approve the purchase of the software, and the second was to move the money.
Yes.
Okay?
Thanks for your work and your clear explanation of this.
I try.
Good job, really.
May I have a motion to approve this Polaris software module replacement?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the quote from Clarivate for the Vega Interact SMS bundle for a total of $4,770 in 2025 for a 3-year contract with yearly renewals of $3,270 per year.
I'll second.
A motion has been made and seconded.
Who was the second on that?
Me.
Okay.
Everybody, we all did it.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to approve the quote for the Vega Interact SMM bundle. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who disapprove, please say nay. Motion carried. Now we need the second one.
Before we do that, there's a little bit of a nuance to this in terms of accounting for this.
Yep.
I think that this is what's called a software-based information technology agreement, a SPITA,
Okay.
which is covered under GASB 96,
Okay.
and which is fairly new.
Oh, okay.
And what GASB 96 requires you to do is at the inception of the SPITA, you have to record a revenue of proceeds for the entire, and of an expense for the entire cost for the entire 3 years.
Oh, okay.
So the revenue side of that doesn't carry like the legal weight of it, but the expenditure side does. And I have a lot of clients that don't know that you have to make that adjustment, and it has to be budgeted.
Okay.
And so we have to figure out what that SPITA is. It's an offsetting entry.
Okay.
It's a revenue and expense, and I would say it's 4,770 plus 3,270 plus 3,270.
Okay.
That's what it is, that we need to do a revenue and expenditure.
Is that what Eiley would ask for the contracts
Yeah.
of these for?
Yeah.
Okay, because she had been asking.
That's exactly what she's asking for.
Okay.
And so this one looks to me like the bamboo one, that's a month-to-month agreement. So that's
Right.
scoped out of GASB 96, so that's why I didn't say anything about that.
Okay.
Okay.
This is a 3-year non-cancelable agreement, which means it's a SPITA.
Okay.
For sure, something we should get.
This is, we need to book that. We need to book that. And that's,
Okay.
then, and the expenditure side of it needs to be recorded in addition to the actual hard cash outlay of the 4,770.
So
So it's super weird.
does it get booked a little bit like a prepaid then, or?
It's a revenue and an expenditure.
Okay,
for
okay.
For the full amount, because you're also going to record an asset and a liability, and that's where it starts, is this recording at the fund level.
Okay.
So that asset and liability is at the government-wide level, which nobody looks at,
Got it.
but you got to record that at the fund level to be able to do it. And the
Do we need
problem
to
is,
rework our motion to accommodate that?
not necessarily right now, because this isn't wrong as it is, but it's incomplete. So what we need to do is calculate the amount of the SPITA, which either I can do for you,
Okay.
or you can ask Eiley, but she might charge you.
I'm sure she will.
So I will charge you.
Okay.
I have the agreement right here, and
Okay.
I can calculate that easily.
Perfect.
It's a 10-minute job.
Awesome.
And I can tell you what that is, and then we would have to amend the budget for that revenue and expenditure.
Okay.
And that's over and above the 4,770.
I appreciate you catching that.
So
I do too.
do we
Yeah,
need to modify the budget adjustment, or are we okay with the budget?
I think we're okay with what we have here, but
Okay.
they're going to need another one.
So
But as long as we
so
do it
we'll-
before the end of the year, it's fine.
So we'll do that probably then in October.
For the next one.
I'll get you the number.
Okay.
I'll get you the number based on this agreement that I have here,
Okay.
and then we can make an adjustment for that.
Okay,
So
perfect.
it doesn't affect the motion, it's the back end. It's
Just
just
the back end.
Yeah.
It's the back end until when we do the true thing in October. Okay. Thank you.
You're right, it is weird.
It is weird.
It's very
It is
weird. And I have to explain it to people all the time.
So our software then becomes an asset.
Yes.
So that's where the revenue comes from.
Yeah, that's where the revenue is.
Yeah, because you're going to have an asset and liability
Okay.
for that. Yep.
So when did this become effective?
Last year.
Okay. So this is the first time
And
we've
I don't know that
tested
we've,
it.
and yeah, I don't know that we've run into it yet.
Right. Right.
Okay.
I haven't seen anything so far that has
No, I
caused
don't
me
think
to
we've had
raise my
any
hand and say, hey, that's a spit up.
Yeah.
What if we have something that's a 3-year contract that's maybe in its last year this year? Should we be backtracking, or is this only new things?
So, you're supposed to, at the inception of the agreement, you're supposed to record this revenue and expenditure, and you're also supposed to consider all likely renewals, which that's the only real question I have. I heard you just say a minute ago that we may redo this indefinitely. So that's something I need to think about when I come up with that number.
Although
I need to look at that.
From a technology standpoint, though, in 2 years, he might be saying, we don't love it, and what other options are out there.
Well, that's true. We
so.
also have things that we've been renewing.
Yeah, indefinitely.
Over and over again.
That's true.
Not
Okay.
all of them, there's some significant things that are scoped out of it. Agreements that are less than a year, month to month, like this
Yeah.
bamboo.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Okay.
not part of it.
All
And then
right.
also, when the standard was put in last year, for existing agreements, there was not a requirement that you had to have that revenue and expenditure. There was just a restatement that was done.
Okay.
And I asked during the audit process about that, and I was told that it was deemed immaterial.
Okay.
So it's for new
Yeah.
agreements.
For new agreements going forward.
Does that count as new renewals or just new starting agreements?
New starting agreements. So we're supposed to be
Okay.
considering those renewals when we make this entry, so.
Well, right.
So
Right.
I need to factor that in when I go to calculate this number. I need to factor that in, those likely renewals.
Okay.
And I'm gonna assume it's that same amount there, because it doesn't have,
Yeah, but I think
it doesn't have to be
there's something
exact.
they're talking about maybe.
And I'm glad that he's here to hear all this as well, because he's the most likely one to have these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see them a lot in libraries,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of these, you know.
It tends to be the IT stuff that's like this, though, that
There
they
is.
love 3-year contracts for stuff, so. Okay.
So then if I switch any vendors, any contracts that are longer than a year,
Okay.
Yeah.
okay, I just have to get that in my brain that if I'm switching a contract, but like, for example, this is another one that I have my backup software that I'm using, that I've been using consistently.
Yep.
But I've been using it for 6 years already. If I continue to use it, it does not fall under this.
Well, it would. I mean, we should have picked it up in the beginning, but like I said, I asked about that. One of the questions I asked
Right, yeah.
was regarding that.
Yep.
You know, because I didn't see anything in the report, our audit report, having to do with that.
Okay.
And I thought that was unusual, and I asked about it, and I was told that it wasn't material.
Okay.
So they must have considered that.
Well, it's kind of hard to have people backtracking when you pass a new law.
So,
That doesn't mean they don't expect us to do it.
You do it all the time.
Yeah.
Gatsby's always fun like that.
Yeah, yeah.
all right, so I will keep.
I made a note for us to go back
Yeah.
and look at it so that we can,
'Cause
if we're
we
gonna
have
do this
several
one, we might as
contracts that
well,
are consistent.
look at the other ones too and make sure that we've got them all.
Multi-year
lined up.
software agreements.
Yeah,
That's
I have many of them.
that's what this statement is.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them. in
And
fact.
I gave her quite a few last
Yeah.
year, so.
Yeah.
And she looked
Yeah.
at them.
Yeah, so she probably plugged it into a tool that she has and determined, yep, this one applies, this one doesn't, this one applies, this one doesn't. And then you add it all up at the end and you say, well, that's not material, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Okay.
So that's probably what happened. This one's gonna be, at least 10 grand, which is not necessarily material, but, if our budget's over by that, that's against the law,
Okay. Yeah, we definitely don't want that to happen.
Okay.
so.
So we
might
still,
as well follow law.
we still
Of
need a
course.
motion, we can still make this motion
Yes.
and adjust things next month, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I made a note to do that.
In that case, I will make the motion to approve a budget adjustment of $4,770 from undesignated revenue to line 931, equipment maintenance,
I'll second that.
We've got a motion, and it's been seconded to approve a budget adjustment of $4,770 from undesignated revenue to line 931. All those that approve, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who disapprove, please say nay. Motion carried, and we'll look at this further.
And you'll see it again next month.
And thank you, Ellen, for giving us that.
Yeah, I appreciate
explanation.
that.
No problem.
Yeah.
She didn't mention it to us, so I didn't even realize it was something we were supposed to be watching
Kind
for
of did a
us.
little bit to me, so I mean, we talked about it, but again, like not necessarily the procedure for going forward.
Yeah,
Right,
okay.
right.
Which is fair.
It's good that everybody's, who needs to be knowledgeable about this is knowledgeable
Yeah.
about
Yes.
this.
Very good.
Yes. Okay, now we are working on the approval of the purchasing policy.
So Kathy and I have been working on updating the library's purchasing policy. The draft policy was reviewed by a subcommittee that included Alan Panter and Jan Gaffney. The updated policy consolidates the purchasing policy and the credit card policy, which are currently separate. So the two current policies will need to be rescinded as the new policy is updated. So just a couple of things that I would highlight out of the draft. Primarily what we did was we took out anything out of the policy that was procedural in nature. We did change that maximum amount for purchase that shows up in your consent agenda. So we went from 5,000 to 8,000, so you won't be seeing quite so many. You won't be seeing the hoopla bill anymore every single month.
And it's been a long time at that level.
Yeah, it's it was $5,000 when I started, and it's still $5,000. So yeah, and I've been doing this for 19 years, so it's quite a long time to not have changed it. So the other thing that we adjusted is we clarified in the credit card policy the credit limits. So the credit limit for staff would be $5,000, and the one for the library director's card would be $8,000. I tied that number to that emergency purchases number. The board had actually approved temporarily back during the pandemic for my credit card amount to be raised, because suddenly we went from everything being paid by check to they wanted everything paid online because it was the fastest way, because the mail was so slow, that kind of thing. So I suggested putting it into the policy in case that were to happen again. I honestly don't use my credit card all that often, but to have it be the one that's available for that purpose would be helpful. Any questions about the policy itself or any of the details within it?
Can I just add for the knowledge of everybody here? So Julie, Kathy, Jan, and I met, and we talked about this policy, and we had a lengthy discussion, and we had changes and questions, and Julie made some changes, and then resubmitted a draft, and that's kind of what you're seeing now.
Yep.
I just want to say that I think the policy's pretty darn good. Good. I like it.
Which made me feel good that the auditor said it's a good policy.
Well, I think, yeah,
It is
and
high
I'm
praise, yeah.
glad to see we raised it to 8,000, so that,
Yeah.
makes it much easier for everyone.
I think, 19 years ago, 5,000 was a good number, but we we know about hoopla, and we know how that works, and we don't really need to see that bill every month.
No. Yeah. Exactly. Well, I think the committee did a great job.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So we need a motion to rescind the purchasing policy that was approved in 2015 and the credit card policy that was approved in 2015, and approve the new updated purchasing policy that was presented tonight.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to rescind the purchasing policy from 2015 and the credit card policy from 2015 and approve the the updated purchasing policy that was presented tonight. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who disapprove, please say nay. Motion carried. Now, the HVAC proposals.
All right. So the library building has 5 rooftop HVAC units. Number 3, the biggest of the 5, was replaced in 2024. The 4 remaining units installed in 2006 also need to be replaced. The first RFP that was sent out resulted in only 2 quotes. We reviewed our process, reissued the RFP, and made a more concerted effort to distribute the request more extensively. We received 5 responses ranging in price from $86,750 to $135,830, with the average cost being about $115,360. We reviewed and compared the proposals, compiled the details, and called the references. Allied Building Service, with the lowest bid, is our facilities company, and while our working relationship with them has been positive, we felt their quote for this project seemed unusually low and did not look as thorough and complete as some of the other submissions. After much deliberation, we are recommending D. Kramer. Doug Bubness visited the site more than once to look at the project, asked questions, and provided a detailed quote. It is the second lowest bid, and we feel that it is a pretty accurate estimate of the real project cost, since he spent the time to really look at what is needed. Their references reported that they are timely, responsive, and easy to work with. And we did also like the fact that the references they provided were actually nonprofits as opposed to big commercial corporations. One of them was a library, and the other one was a foundation. So the kinds of entities that we are have a little bit different attitude about the way things get fixed and how long we're likely to keep stuff. So this is a planned project in the library's capital improvement plan, but the funding needs to be transferred from the library's capital improvement fund balance into the 2025 budget to accommodate this project. While we believe it is a fairly accurate quote, we are asking a budget adjustment of $112 for any incidental added expenses or small upgrades. And I will do my best to field questions.
What would be the timing on this project?
I would have to talk to Doug about that and see how long it would, how much lead time. These are smaller units. The previous one was a really big unit. And I want to say custom, but definitely I think these smaller units are more available, so I don't think that it will be as long of a timeline on these.
Does that mean maybe before winter?
I hope so.
Before the end of our calendar year?
Yes, yes.
Well, we knew that these needed to be replaced. So, and as Julie mentioned earlier, we did the, last year we did the largest one, so these are the smaller ones.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions, comments?
And I want to compliment Arlene. She did a lot of hard work calling and meeting with the various contractors, and she did not go up on the roof. She did stand at the bottom of the stairs. But she did field all of their questions and brought them in as many times as they wanted to come in. This gentleman came in. He actually came to the building twice for this project, but then I had asked him a question about something else in our building, and he came back 2 more times to look at that. So that was an interesting conversation as well.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the proposal from D. Kramer as presented and approve a budget adjustment of $112,000 from the capital improvement fund balance to line 975, which is the building account?
I'll move it.
Second.
Did you get it, Nicole? A motion has been made and seconded to approve the proposal from D. Kramer as presented and a budget adjustment of $112,000 from capital improvement fund balance to line 975. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those who disapprove, please say nay. Motion carried. Permission to post head of circulation.
All right.
Our last item.
Last item. Okay. Chris Nato has left the position of head of circulation. This is a key leadership role in the library, so we are requesting permission to post the position immediately. We will form a selection committee and work toward interviewing and selecting a candidate to present to the board for appointment at either the October 13th regular meeting or the October 21st budget meeting. During this transitional time, Brad Reuter, our head of technical services, Bill Bowman, our IT manager, and I are working together with our 2 senior circulation clerks and our lead Paige to manage the department. This is a budgeted position, obviously. So, any questions?
Any questions, comments?
When do we, if this is approved, how soon can you post this?
Tomorrow.
She's ready, it's pretty fast. And leave it out there for 2 weeks?
A couple weeks, yeah. Yeah, we were just counting backwards from that. I'm trying to decide exactly which week we want to do interviews. I'd like to get the selection committee together and try and pick a week for interviews. I'd like to be able to do 2 interviews to make sure that we're making a good choice, so.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Isn't this your call?
This has been, it was tradition when we separated from the township that we always come in and ask for permission. So if we would like to do that, it would need to be a procedural change from the board. We've talked about it and we've never actually made that move, so I didn't feel I should just do it without talking to you first.
Okay.
So.
Actually, it's pretty much a member of the board has always set in on any head of, departmental head.
Right.
Mhm.
So not the sub positions, but
Just the full-time staff.
actual operating staff of the
The
library.
township was very much, when we were a township department, wanted to know if we were posting positions. They wanted the ability to ask, is it actually a necessary position? And not just blindly go ahead and keep refilling positions if they weren't still needed. And so that gave the township board the opportunity to.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's
That's why we go through the budget process,
Yep.
right? And
Exactly.
We approve those positions and we say, we're gonna have a head of circulation and this is what that is gonna
Yes.
cost. And we know that people leave, people come
Yep.
and go and all that kind of stuff. We know that.
Yep.
And that's different from if you were coming and saying, oh, we need a new position and here's what it is and we need a budget. That's different. But this is an existing position
It is.
that's budgeted. And so our job as the library board is not to manage the library, that's your job.
Absolutely.
And so I'm just wondering if this is kind of an area where we just say, okay, well, maybe you should just tell us about that in your director's report.
I'm okay with that. As I said, it was something that as we became, when we first had a library board, I think the library board wanted to sort of keep those pieces in place until they felt comfortable. You've been a board since 2012 now, and procedurally, I'm okay if you want to do it that way. It's fine with me.
It's really minor. I just wanted to ask the question.
It's a good question. It is definitely a good question.
Questions or comments on Ellen's thoughts?
Is it something maybe the staffing committee would like to discuss and we can bring it
That
forward
sounds like
in the
we can talk
2026
about it at
budget
the
year?
budget workshop.
sounds like
Yeah,
a
I think
great
that's a good
way.
idea.
Is that a
Yes.
good way to address it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. So we'll do this position as we've done it in the past, and we'll talk about how it's going to be done going forward in 2026.
It sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay, staffing committee, you've been given a project.
And that's just what we
Staffing
needed.
committee? You will.
See what happens when you.
Yeah, I know about that.
Yep. Okay, since we are going with our current process, we need a motion to approve the posting for head of circulation as presented.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the posting for head of circulation as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who disapprove, please say nay. Motion carried. Looks like we can post in the next day or two.
Thank you.
Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to adjourn the meeting at, 5 till 8. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who disapprove, please say nay. Motion adjourned at 5 till 8. Thank you. And thank you, staff, for coming and
Yes.
presenting your parts. We greatly appreciate it.